Welcome to Leveraging the Laboratory, a Mayo Clinic Laboratories podcast for administrators, outreach managers, and laboratory professionals to learn how to best leverage and optimize the laboratory for patients, clients, and staff. I'm your host, Jane Hermanson, Outreach Manager at Mayo Clinic Laboratories. Joining me today are two of the smartest people I know, Naomi Lovell and Travis Engelhaupt. Naomi is a product manager of digital experience, and Travis is a director in our marketing department at Mayo Clinic Laboratories. Simply put, these two folks are the power behind the website that you see when you visit mayocliniclabs.com. And we've seen sweeping adoption, certainly, over the years by providers and patients moving away from hard copy resources toward online resources to get all of their healthcare information. And if you don't have a website today, you may not even be considered as a viable provider of healthcare services. So Naomi and Travis, I know that you guys are fully employed, heavily involved in ensuring that our MCL website is top notch. Just tell me a little bit more about yourselves and the work that you and your teams do at Mayo Clinic Laboratories.
So I'm currently a digital product manager working on a lot of our communications from our website. A lot of applications for our clients that our clients use. I've worked in many different areas within MCS. I worked in specimen operations, I worked in MLI, and now I'm over here on the web team, and I love it. I've been here for about over 20 years, so it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, first off, Jane, thank you for the accolades. That was very kind of you. So I have been working in websites for at least 25 years, running or building them, here at Mayo for 13 years. I have a bachelor's in computer science. I have a master's degree in human computer interaction, all from Iowa State University. And if I'm not building websites, I'm at home in my workshop building things. I see all the stuff behind me. These are all things that I've built. So I have just this incessant drive to be building something.
They like to build and create.
I sure do.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So you have seen tremendous evolution in all of the web capabilities. So I guess my main question is, from your perspective, how important do you think it is for a lab outreach program to have a website?
Websites are almost the ubiquitous channel that everybody needs to have for awareness. So if you don't have a website, you're going to struggle with being able to get your voice, your message out there. I think that with that comes a lot of challenges. You're going to have to be able to connect with a lot of different parts within the organization to build out a website. Specifically IT, marketing, brand. These are all teams, along with your content producers, to create something. So it is certainly a lift, but it will pay off to get your message out there and for people to hear what you need them to be able to hear. And so really, I think it comes down to asking the question, like, what is it that you need the website to do? Do you need that website to be able to share information, provide information about the status of orders or status of testing? Do you just need to provide education to your audience, your viewership? So it really comes down to asking some of those key questions. And Naomi, do you have any additional thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. People are going and looking for information, and really they're coming to us to look.
Absolutely. Well, and one thing that I've seen some groups do is that they even use their external websites as an internal communication tool. So a lot of people use
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just to facilitate internal operations, right?
And I
Yeah.
would say website is probably a bit of a misnomer. It's probably plural with websites. You've got internal, external. You've got even within a place like Mayo, we have, I think, 500 web properties that we manage across the enterprise. So there's just, it looks a lot different for every organization, but at the end of the day, we're probably dealing with multiple digital properties.
Sure, sure. So it's websites instead of singular. I'll work on that. So truly, and Travis, I know you've been around for a long time. Naomi, you were probably working without a website at one point in your career at Mayo. Across your careers, you've seen just a tremendous increase and change in our capabilities. And Travis, I'm going to guess that a lot of that is due to you and the work that you've done. But when you look at how our website is used, what are the top three most frequently accessed aspects of our own MCL.com website?
So by far, the number one is our test catalog and then all the ancillary content that supports it. So that's a huge draw for our website for both the traffic that we get through our customers and then organic search traffic that we would get outside coming into us. So that is absolutely at the top. I would say that a second is search, and we're doing a lot of work right now to invest in that. When you have a website as large as ours, you need to help people with wayfinding and allowing them to get to where they need to be able to get to as quickly as possible. And search is the primary mechanism for us to be able to do that. We're going to launch search here in the next couple of months to be able to allow our customers to be able to have a better experience and find the content that they're looking for much more quickly. I think our third one is probably our specialty pages. This kind of blends into our education content as well. So one of the key differentiators that we have at Mayo Clinic Laboratories is our education content, and so that tends to be paired very closely with our specialty pages as well. And so if you've got a physician coming in that's in a specific specialty, they're going to want to focus in on the content that's been curated together to be able to bring that together for them so that they have it all in one spot. So it's probably our third.
Sure.
And Naomi, any thoughts?
I think just
Ted?
making everything smarter. Travis, I know you and I've talked about the future of AI and what everybody else is doing. So, that's really what we're diving into is what else can we do for those individuals that are on our pages.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of this is probably not where you were expecting this conversation to go, but AI is becoming such a big part of what we're considering in our website as we think about just how in a very short time, within months, we're seeing traffic patterns change because of ChatGPT and Copilot. So all of that stuff is really starting to play an important role in our strategies for what we're doing moving forward. And I think broadly across all the internet, that's something that we all have to contend with.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, so that would be part two of this podcast, and we'll have to figure out what that looks like. But truly, and what I find AI, it just tends to summarize things, and that's dangerous because it finds the things that it thinks might be most appropriate to summarize, but truly they could actually be doing a disservice, in my opinion. So I think for us to make sure that you put the right content out there and then that AI is pulling the good stuff out, that's a challenge, right? Wow. So I want to kind of bring it back to the kind of our audience, which is mostly going to be based in the community. So the community-based medicine laboratories. And if you think about our website and then you put on your community hat and you're in a town of 10,000 in the Midwest, what kind of information is important for that kind of a health system or hospital-based lab to have on their own website? Different than what we have, the same as what we have, and just kind of what do you think is bare necessity and then kind of the moonshot dream of what would you love to have out there?
I think the same as what we have. Really we need to be accessible and we need to find clear ways to find information through the website. So that's huge. Our clients, our physicians, patients, they're all coming to the website looking for information about testing or specific services. So, having that easy way to search and look and find the information that they're looking for. Education and training, we do have a great education page. We see many people coming on for that dangerous goods certification and how how to send in samples, etc. Laboratory website should have, it should act as a digital partner really. And, we need to bridge that digital gap between high complexity lab services and the diverse real world needs of, community-based care.
And if I think about my parents who are in their 80s and they're going to go stumble onto a website, for them, it might just be trying to find a place to get their blood drawn, right?
Right. Yeah.
And how do I plug it in, and can they do it on their phone? And what I find a lot of websites, and I think you've done a lot of work yourselves on this, but to make sure that it's also something that looks great on a desktop, but does it play on somebody's cell phone as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's I mean, we noticed that trends here are one that shows us that more and more people are using mobile devices. Um, in our world, we call it squishy design, so we can't tell if a person for sure is going to visit us via a desktop or a mobile device or a tablet. So we have to make our web presence squishy so that it can fit in all of those different devices and screens. Certainly, it's a challenge for front-end developers to be able to do that and to do it well. And I would say that's probably more in the nice to have. Like if you can passively get by with a website that's designed specifically around desktops, and then it can present itself okay on mobile devices. But the data is really clearly showing that the web trends show more and more users are definitely using mobile. More and more users are definitely using AI augmented searches. So these are all these trends that we are having to watch for. And right now, they're probably in the nice to have, but given in the next year or two, maybe 5 down the road, you're going to see that those things become absolutely necessary.
Yeah, okay. Well, what about the love to have, kind of the dream type of a website? And again, for a community hospital, and for some of them, the dream might be just to actually have a website.
Yeah.
But what would be a kind of a dream capability? Any thoughts?
I would say really like the AI enhanced search, because we are right now in that world of, how to, and individuals speak, different ways, and they have different ways of asking.
Mhm.
And AI's got that. AI has natural language processing where I can say it one way, Jane, you can say it one way, Travis could say it another way, but it really all needs to come down to how did you get the information, and here is your information, because they're looking for that quick information as to you know what is this test, what does it do, et cetera, et cetera. So it's using those different words and phrases that would have that AI search functionality.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's great because truly my parents, they talk to their phone search engine
Uh-huh.
like they're talking to a person. So it really, really helps them. So I like that thought. Okay. So I'm going to switch to a really hard question. So for you guys, you're just going to say this is paycheck. But in your roles, you have a lot of autonomy and truly the expertise that it's taken to program and ultimately build out what you need. But rarely are we going to have any hospital lab outreach program who has a webmaster or any type of dedicated support. So what they're doing is they're just kind of scrapping and fighting for any attention from their electronic teams in their organization. How would you suggest a laboratory gets aligned with their overall hospital websites, plural, to your point, Travis, process?
This is tough. I'm not going to be about a beat around the bush on this one. This is really tough, and it's expensive. Technology costs across all industries are going to continue to rise. So there's definitely an expense to a website. So really what it comes down to, I believe, is your executive buy-in. It's your physician sponsor. It is showing that a website is a strategic asset that can be leveraged to generate revenue or to at least provide the awareness necessary to get the word out for demand generation that's necessary to continue the growth of the laboratory. So it is not, I wish there was an easy button on this one, but you said it, Jane, it's a hard question. And I think that I know we're talking a lot about AI. I'm going to do it again here because I think one of the potential promises of the future for AI is that it can help to do some of the lift. I was recently on a presentation by a vendor. I'll leave the name off of this, but very, very well known. They do a lot of Fortune 500 companies, uh, web presences, and they're showing us capabilities of how agentic AI can build form pages in seconds by just asking the agent to do that. That in our world takes several months to do. So having that time savings was astonishing to see that in a live demo. So there's some prospects here that AI can in the future be able to help reduce the costs of some of these large technology builds that we're seeing. So I'm hopeful for that, especially for outreach laboratories. I think that those will be game changers. But in the meantime, I would say that finding yourself a cost-effective partner is a really good way of doing this, and we've done this as well. One of our partners have been what we call our pressure valve. So when we are struggling to get things out there to our website, a vendor can help to do things very, very quickly without going into a lot of our IT rigor that we need. They can't do everything because of that, but if you're really intentional about how that partner is brought in and how they are to be used within the technology ecosystem, I think that that could be a very effective strategy for a hospital that's really, really light on staff.
Sure. Well, and again, when you think nobody in the laboratory really knows, but if they can say, you know what, we know that there are some outside partners that could help build it into the budget, then you've actually got the support that you need rather than trying to get in line behind some other big project that the organization's trying to do.
Yeah.
So something else that I've seen is just when we have health systems that are merging and they're kind of working on their brand, they'll even do something just tragic like a freeze. Nothing on the website, nothing changes for 3 months, nothing changes for 6 months. And that's really hard because now you've got stuff out there that's outdated. Any thoughts about kind of some little side roads that you can take to still get information out there when you have those moratoriums? Or is that just something that you have to deal with?
I would say that for a hospital as large as Mayo Clinic and the Mayo Clinic laboratories, it's part of the management that we have to go through because our systems are so highly complex, and those moratoriums are there for a good reason. Again, that goes back to my previous point. If you have an outside vendor that can be a partner, they can offer that pressure valve capacity for you to be able to do things without having it be embroiled into the whole release process that we have to go through otherwise. I would say that's also the power of a content management system. We have gone through the transformation to bring on a content management system, and that's a very, very powerful platform, and it can be really expensive. So you can go with really big vendors like Sitecore or Adobe, or you can go with open source like WordPress. And that gives you the opportunity to be able to edit your website without having it go through technology releases that you might have to go through. So the content management system will allow you to be able to edit your website without going through through a IT release.
Okay. So if you have these more kind of simple, is that kind of a framework then for a website? So I know WordPress, a lot of people use that for blogs. So you could use that as a basic framework, and then that gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. In our case, WordPress it started off as a blog, and its ability to manage pages and editing really allowed us to start to embrace it as a content management system. Now, it's not one that we can leverage all of our business on, and eventually we're going to move in a direction where we're going to consolidate our content management systems down into a single one. But it absolutely helped us to be able to get content out there as quickly as possible, keep it updated without it being challenged and held back by the moratoriums, Jane, that you kind of referred
Yep.
to.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because the very first outreach blogs that my team wrote, we wrote, and then we actually had posting capabilities into WordPress. So I got to see all of the magic behind the scenes. And if somebody like me can handle it, I'm guessing just about anybody can. So actually, I see that we are kind of nearing the end of our time, and I have a final question. So I don't know if you've watched these podcasts before, but what I like to do is kind of close with kind of a rapid fire, something kind of fun to summarize the conversation that we had. And I know you guys live and breathe the Mayo Clinic Laboratories website, and I assume you have probably a favorite part, or maybe there's some little hidden gem that people might not know about. What would you like people to look at that maybe isn't up there front and center and not something that's top of mind? What's your favorite little Easter egg out there?
I'll let Naomi start with this one.
My favorite Easter egg are obviously my couple products that I have. One of them being Message Center, where some of our clients have that application or that product where they can go in and communicate with our MLI team without having to use the phone. But we also just recently launched chat on our web pages where clients, patients can ask questions on our chat and it routes to the correct team. So some of those laboratories that are working really hard, they're on their computers, they don't have time to pick up a phone and make a phone call. They can actually use chat now and ask a simple question to MLI, client support, education, biopharma. So those are my super exciting, like, yay, we've got it. And clients are using it and loving it. And so are our agents that are using those applications.
Oh, that's super. Excellent. Okay. Travis, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give two. So first is search, and it's the search that we've got coming up in the next couple of months. It really is going to be a platform for us to leapfrog into the future, and I think we're starting to see a lot of changes in how people are behaving. So think about it in terms of currently, when you come to our website, you do a search, you get a web page. But what happens in the future with AI augmentation, where you come to our website and you ask a question, you get an answer?
Mhm.
To me, that's really the change that we're seeing and what we want to be able to provide to our customers. So you come into our website and say, I need a place to test. What test tube do I order? Instead of going to the web page to look for it, you actually just right there get to see the requirements of the test that you're going to submit. The second, I would say, and it was a really, really difficult project, and it's still underway, but it's the activity metrics dashboards. So that gives our customers the ability to see their data and be able to explore it, understand the, the the insights that can be pulled from it. I think that's one of the most impactful ways that we can share with our customers on, what they can do to help prevent unnecessary cancellations and really, really improve the quality of our testing. So that was a big lift that we were part of, and I'm glad to see that it's being used and has the attention that it so much deserves. So those are the two.
Oh, fantastic. Well, so I'm going to have to go check those out, but I encourage you to check out the outreach stuff because you support that as well. We've got a blog, we've got a podcast, which is this, of course. And then we also have information about all of the other educational offerings that we provide. So that's my favorite, and I don't think it's too hidden, but we certainly would love for people to visit that. And truly, we are at the end of our time today. So Naomi, Travis, I can't thank you enough for taking your time to share your expertise around having a great website or websites, as you say. So thank you truly for all that you do. And I hope our audience got some new information today that can help them be more effective in managing their own websites. So thank you so much for the both of you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And for our audience, if you want to know more about laboratory outreach success, you have a great opportunity to hear from expert faculty and other attendees at our upcoming outreach conference. Leveraging the Laboratory Vision to Action will be held in Nashville, Tennessee, September 16th and 17th, 2025. Registration is now open, so go to www.mayocliniclabs.com mayo.com/education for more information. I hope to see you there. And truly, thank you again for listening to Leveraging the Laboratory, a podcast from Mayo Clinic Laboratories. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe. And until next time, we encourage you to continue to promote your community-based hospital laboratory. The needs of the patient come first.